and welcome to Celebrate Health, Wealth and Happiness. Today I am talking to the beautiful Jill from Infinite Grace. I would be amazed maybe if you haven't heard of her already. She is an amazing, amazing soul and spirit on this planet who seems to be able to make everyone come together so fabulously and on such a grand scale. So if you haven't heard about her, you're definitely going to hear about her now. And so, Jill, hi.
Hi, what a very flattering introduction. Thanks, Ross.
It's all true. So the first question is something that I ask everyone, and that is, what makes your heart sing?
So many things. Having real, raw, honest conversations with people that are making a difference in their lives and other people's lives. Hearing my kids laugh and my goats and all the animals on my farm. Yeah, lots of things. Hearing my husband's car come up the driveway.
That's good that makes you happy. That's very good.
Most days.
No, I always believe that when it comes to making our heart sing, we should have as many things as possible that can do that. So now, with your wonderful business, Infinite Grace, it's all about women's health. And I was wondering what made you choose to focus on that, because it's such a lovely broad spectrum way of helping women's health.
Well, women have been dealt a pretty raw deal for a few hundred years now. Yeah, and it's even worse now with Facebook and all of the media that's out there and the competition, and they just, they want us to tear each other down. And I just don't believe that we should. I think that we're here to build each other up and support each other. And there's so many ways that we can do that. And not just with, mental health, but with all of our health. And so holistically looking at women, just there's so many beautiful things to offer. And each one of us is just so many gifts.
And I agree wholeheartedly, which is why I do this. Now, I have written on here, just so people are aware who are going to be coming and watching us, that some of what we're talking about is going to be menstruation, and you have amazing products for menstruation. How did you discover them?
Well, about 5 years ago, my friend, one of my best friends, is a midwife, and she said to me, are you using a moon cup? And I had never heard of them. I lived in the States for the past 13 years before I came to Australia 5 years ago. And they're just not really popular. I mean, they may be now within 5 years since I've been here, but I hadn't heard of a moon cup or a menstrual cup before. And when I got my hands on one, started using it, I thought, why has nobody told me about this? It's just easy and reliable and economical, and we're keeping stuff out of landfills. So many great reasons to use them. And the pads are reusable as well, so you just wash them. What a novel concept. It's going back to the old ways, yeah?
Yeah, I have to admit, I find the menstrual cup an amazing concept. And I still haven't been brave enough to try it yet, but I will get there. Probably just having had a baby, I'm probably a bit wary about everything in that area at the moment.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's part of what I really love to do, is sit with women and just be real. And we talk about the things that you might not actually talk about anywhere else or with anyone else. And I think that's where the magic happens. And whether it's using a moon cup or a pad or any of the things that I do, making sure that they feel safe and not judged and can open up. That's where change happens.
Which leads us to the amazing talk that you give, Going with the Flow. Now, I've been to that talk, and that's one of the, I guess, first times that we'd spent quite a longer time together. And see, as an ex-registered nurse, I tend to find talking about all this sort of stuff normal. But
Normal,
I know, yeah, and I know, I haven't talked about it with my girlfriends. In a clinical setting, it's normal to talk about, but with my girlfriends, not so normal. It's like something that we all know happens to us, but it's a bit of a secret. And your amazing talk called Going with the Flow was just such a wonderful opening to everything. And I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit about it and let us know maybe where you're having your next talk.
So Go with the Flow has been, I guess, years of just conversations and books and things that I've come across, and I just kind of put it all together, and I do tailor the presentation depending on the audience. You know, if we've got younger girls in the room, then I don't sort of share a whole lot of the stuff that they might find uncomfortable or embarrassing. But it's my intention or aim with that talk to change the way that women look at their period. You know, for a really big part of our lives, 50% of the population, you know, every month, this is happening to us and we're not talking about it. And it's just silly. It's really silly that we're hiding tampons up our sleeves. I remember doing that at school and I'm peeling the pad, you know, making sure it doesn't make a noise. It's just so silly, you know. And now with these really interesting, fun and different products, it shouldn't be. It should be actually something that people can talk about. And I find it fascinating. I really do. And there's so many different ways to look at it. And charting your cycle, if you're not doing that, then it's just a really, really powerful planning tool. It's great for practical reasons. I would give that talk every day if I could. Well, I probably wouldn't, I'd get bored. But the Red Tent is where I give those talks. So Red Tent Australia, if women go to the website, I don't have one scheduled, but anybody wants me to come and talk, I'm always available.
And because you can do this talk for a range of ages, it's just, it still just really does gobsmack me that, like you said, it happens to 50% of us. It's not a minority thing, and it happens every month. Like if anything happened every month to 50% of the population, you think someone would want to talk about it?
Absolutely.
And especially because the outcome of it is to create new life. And I guess that's what I find amazing. We keep it like this deep, dark secret, and yet without it,
well, and the fact that our society views blood as dirty, or that they don't want to look at it and things like that. Blood's a part of life. It really is. I mean, as a nurse, you see blood all the time, and it's just, we need to change the way that we're looking at it. We really do, and normalize it, and not just for women, but for men and our sons and our partners as well. And and fathers, single fathers that are raising daughters. This is a normal thing that they shouldn't feel that they can't talk to their daughters about.
And that's most definitely true. I mean, it's amazing how as young women, and I don't know if many men know this, but as young women, we often learn our cues of how to be women from our dads just as much as our mums. And I don't know if that's shared much throughout the community. So it doesn't matter if you have a single dad or a single mum and you've got a little girl, they look to you to find their way of being in this world.
Absolutely.
I find that really fascinating. Now, there was another thing on the Infinite Grace website that I was quite interested in, and that was holistic counselling. And I was just wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about how you share that with people.
Well, it's a fabulous tool, and I guess it encompasses so many different methods and modalities. So I've been a Reiki practitioner for, probably 10 years, maybe 15 years now. And I've just completed a shamanic mentoring level 1. And so it really complements the holistic counselling. So holistic counselling looks at the client and helps them as the whole person, not just what they're presenting with today. So we can go back generations and we can look systemically, we can energetically sort of find out where things may have started. And there's so many different ways that we can help the client. It's a fabulous, fabulous way of counselling.
I find it very interesting. She said about the shamanic. Did I say that right? Yeah. Part of holistic counselling, and I have to admit, there's been 2 times in my life where I have been standing there, and all of a sudden I felt surrounding me was every woman from my family.
Beautiful.
Every woman from both sides. It was just, it's a strong matriarchal power in my family, and I don't know if that's acknowledged enough. The one time was when I was being sued by my uncle and for my grandmother's estate, and they let me know that they were there to help me move forward with this so I could help my mum move forward with it. And the other time was when I found out I was pregnant with my little girl. They all stood shoulder to shoulder to me and went, this is it. Okay, we're bringing forth. And all of a sudden, sort of everything was through her. So I find that incorporating all of that in, it must be quite powerful, some of the healing that you can do with that.
Well, the resources that we all have at our fingertips, at all times, day or night, even when we're sleeping, letting women know that they're never alone, and letting women know that they can connect with the ancestors, but also, you know, through the archetypes, that they're in a wise woman, even going back and reparenting and being the person that they didn't have necessarily in their lives as a child, and working with that inner child work. It's amazing the resources that we all have at our fingertips, and leading women through guided meditations or drum journeys, and just helping them to feel safe, secure, connected, and confident. It's amazing, and it's so beautiful to see that spark when you connect with somebody. And they may not even realize what they've got, but if I can show them what I see, you know, they can feel lifted, and it's a whole new look, whole new perspective for them.
That leads very well into my next question, which was, what could you share that was the most important lesson to women on health and healing? Like, what would it be? And definitely, I think regaining their confidence and their power back is such a huge gift.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're all going through the same crap, just at different times. And if somebody can show you that you can get through things, and sometimes you can't get over it, you know, it keeps coming up for you, and it's not a matter of just, you know, putting on a brave face or a mask and pretending that things haven't happened. You just got to get through them, and looking at things from a different perspective, and knowing that we're all connected and we're all feeling the exact same feelings. Even the babies, you know, that aren't verbal and don't have the words to describe what they're feeling the exact same feelings as we are. It's just being able to sit with somebody and express those feelings. And, you know, antidepressants and all of those sorts of things, they definitely have a place, but being able to express what you're really feeling with no judgment, priceless.
Yep. Priceless. I agree. And I think it is undervalued in society at the moment.
Absolutely.
We medicate everything.
And we tell people to try and think positively all the time. Well, that's just, you know, it's not possible to be positive all the time. And you need to acknowledge that for people, otherwise they feel like they're failing.
It's so very, very true. And actually, where I found out about red tent was reading a book called The Hidden Order by Lillian Grace, and she writes about the young girls going through the red tent ceremonies in the book. But she also talks about the fact that you're never always going to feel happy and perky, and it's not always positive. But like you said, you've got to go through the process, and coming out the other side of the process, you can acknowledge sometimes why you had to go through that, and what benefit has gotten you. But you can't have the light without the dark. You have to go through both parts.
Absolutely.
To really become the person who you're meant to become. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Are there any other services that you offer you'd like to share with us, Jill?
Well, you know, it feels like I'm moving more into, like you say, doing the talks and things like that, and the alternative menstrual products are probably my passion, but I have a line of energy lifting mists. So for anybody really, before you go into a meeting, after you come out of a meeting, in your house. And so I have one called Hello for when, you know, you arrive and you really want to feel sort of centered and grounded, one called Goodbye for when you leave to disengage. And we've got Healthy, Wealthy and Wise, and then Truth and Love. And as I was making them, and they all sort of came in as one, I didn't realize that they actually are aligned to the chakras as well. So there's 7 of those in the line, and I also have a line now of intentional candles. So it's more of a meditation aid that you can, you know, light the candle and look at the words on the front of the candle, and of course smell the beautiful smell. But it's just something to help you set an intention and focus. So yeah, lots of really fun and beautiful products as well as the services.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful. How can people best get in contact with you?
Well, email, Facebook, phone. I've got a website that's being constructed right now, should be launching within the month. And I work from home. So I live on a beautiful permaculture farm. It's 47 acres and it's in Redland Bay. And so when clients come to my house, and more often than not, they all say the same thing. They get to the top of the driveway. The driveway is almost 1 kilometre long. And they stop and they put the windows down and they just drive really slowly up the driveway, because there's this, just coming to the farm is a healing experience. We've got animals galore. There's 4 horses and a cow, and there's sheep and goats and ducks and geese and chickens and a cat and a dog. So if you don't like animals, then it's probably not the best place to come. But if you do, it's a healing. And part of the service and the healing that we do, we actually take a walk around the farm and we notice what presents, because inevitably there'll be messages out there for us as well within nature.
That sounds amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll have to come out, little girl.
I will.
Like a petting zoo.
Good. I'll bring my little girl. She can experience all the animals. That'll be great. Now, my last question is one I ask everyone, and that's, is it one person living or in spirit that you would love to have a lunch with? Who would it be?
Oh, I can't just choose one. My Nana, definitely.
Yep.
My Nana came to New Zealand from Scotland when she was 21. I grew up in New Zealand. And so she had a very thick, broad Scottish accent. And I can still hear her. She passed when I was 14. And I can still hear her just as clear as day. And she was an incredible lady. And I'd really love to meet Marianne Williamson. I'd love to meet her. Yep.
There's some, that is an amazing soul who's come in, and definitely your grandmother sounds like she was quite a strong character. So yeah, I think having both of them at the lunch would be quite an amazing event.
Wouldn't it be fabulous?
Thank you so much, Jill, for sharing with us. I just think that these topics are so important. I have always been a strong advocate for women's health, as well as their wealth, but I tend to be someone who shares and talks a lot about anything. And I love the fact that you've brought these things to us, and I will gladly have you on here as many times as I need to help women really understand and appreciate their whole selves. including that bloody part that happens every month, because I think it's important. Very, very important.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Roz.
No worries, Jill. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.